Good evening. So before I get started, I would like a quick show of hands. How many of you over the last summer or even the last year spent time near a beach? Anyone? Oh, very good. Me too. Now, how many of you, probably many, were like me and you looked out across those waves and you thought, wow, what a tremendous amount of energy that could be harnessed from those waves, right? You thought it too, I knew it. And those kind of thoughts, that is really what has propelled my research over the past 24 years as a professor. Looking at those kind of energy opportunities that we have. How can we harness our God-given resources in a responsible way to enable sustainable energy, to enable a positive energy future? And I'm Annette von Jouanne, professor of electrical and computer engineering at Baylor University. My area is energy systems. So when we think about energy systems, I work on power systems, power electronics, so all kinds of power supply designs, motors and drives, with a focus on renewable energy, sustainable energy, and sustainable transportation. And I have a passion, I've always had a passion for renewables. So wind energy, solar energy, and wave energy. And when we talk about wave energy, we're talking about harnessing the energy in those heaving ocean swells and converting that into electrical energy. Where renewables, as you think about how the Lord created the earth, okay? He created the earth like a big heat exchange machine that's driven by the sun, where it's the uneven heating of the earth's surface that creates the wind, and it's the wind that drives the waves. So really, thinking about renewables, wind and wave energy, they're really concentrated forms of solar energy. And so it's such a delight to be looking at the resources that God has given us with students to enable us to have a positive energy future. And as you reflect on how God has used your passions, your interests, to really navigate your path. And for me, looking back, I finished my doctorate in 1995 in electrical engineering at Texas A&M University. And that was before Baylor had developed engineering programs. And so in 1995, 24 years ago, I headed off to become a professor at Oregon State University, there on the West Coast, and I developed a wave energy program. And I developed it into a multidisciplinary, internationally recognized program where I was working with students from across engineering disciplines to design and build wave energy generators, test them on wave energy linear test beds that we had also developed, also test them in wave flumes and out in the ocean, where thinking about all those kind of results, as you could imagine, over 20 years of working on that, really our greatest results, our greatest tangible results as professors are our students. And it is so rewarding as professors to be a part of their development as we help them to reach their potential and really be all that God created them to be. And so in 2017, the Lord called me to Baylor, and I have built up a high-power lab there at the Brick, and that lab is designed specifically for advancing research in renewables, energy sustainability, and sustainable transportation, where I've done a lot of sustainable transportation work, including on electric and hybrid vehicles, the hybrid electric tank, and also on the Navy all-electric ship. started working on the Navy all-electric ship 20 years ago. We now have 3. One of those 3 is already commissioned, another one being commissioned this year. And I have several test beds built up in my lab around the Navy all-electric ship. But also very exciting is the research we're developing on electric and hybrid vehicles, where in my lab we have built up an electric vehicle dynamometer test bed where you can drive an electric vehicle right onto the test bed. Each wheel is on rollers so that you can put this vehicle through EPA drive cycles and really determine how it's performing. And so what we're using this information for is we're seeking to optimize the efficiency of the vehicle in addition to the performance of the batteries. And we're also looking at those batteries as energy storage that can help the grid during times of critical need. So actually going vehicle to grid. And in fact, I need to ask, does anyone here own an electric vehicle? Very good. Okay, let's connect in the faculty lounge. As in the name of science, we would like to test your electric vehicle in our lab. And I'm not kidding. You see the Tesla there. This is actually one of my former students who's now very busy in a job, but his is going to be our first one that we're planning to test actually week after next. So that's pretty exciting for us. A lot of exciting research going on. And that is the most critical piece, again, is working with students who are excited about being a part of a sustainable energy, a positive energy future, where when we're talking about sustainable energy, we are talking about meeting our present needs without compromising the needs of future generations. And so one of my favorite verses throughout the years has been Genesis 1:28. So this is where the Lord calls us to go forth and multiply, spread his influence throughout the earth and subdue it. Where that implies in the Hebrew that God has purposefully designed into the earth unrealized potential for us to discover and utilize and activate for man's good and God's glory, right? And so really our research is like a divine invitation where the more accurate truth that we learn about God's creation, the greater our reverence for and our love for the Lord. And so doing research at a Christian research university where God is honored and where his creation is recognized, it really is the perfect match. Thank you very much.